Hello YouTube, Goddard Radio Moscow here again with another beer review for you, as is usual. For this one, we're going to continue on with the Scottish series of beer reviews that I've been doing for you. So the Scottish Beer Month, this will be video number 7 in that series, and of course, this series is really cool because I get to try a lot of beers from some very small breweries in Scotland who I've never come into contact with, and this one is another one just like that. So we're going to go to the Loch Lomond Brewery and have a taste of a beer called the West Highland Way. I'd never heard of these guys until very recently. In fact, I did buy this beer from the Aldi Scottish Beer Festival season that they did. They had a load of different Scottish beers on sale for a very short period of time, and I bought quite a few different ones up to do reviews for you on here. So as is usual then with my beer reviews, I'll take you through a very short history of the brewery. It is very short for this one, but if you don't want to stick with me for it, just fast forward a few minutes into the video and you'll get straight to the tasting. The brewery website's in the video description for you below, along with the link to my future Loch Lomond beer reviews, and I will add to these once I get home from Australia. So Loch Lomond Brewery was opened by Fiona and Ewan McKeechern in Alexandria at the southern end of Loch Lomond in 2011, and the couple had been home brewing for a number of years and decided to turn professional after seeing the gap in the market for cask ales in Scotland and also the growth of other breweries. And this is the main thing about the Scottish craft beer movement. There's a whole host of breweries like this one who've opened up in maybe the last 5 years, but there are some older ones who are a little bit more established who've been going for a little while. But it's very cool to see the growth of Scottish craft beer. But Fiona works in the brewery full time while Ewan works with her on weekends. He's got a regular job, but the brewery is located on the Lomond Industrial Estate, and it's equipped with a brand new and purpose-built facility, and brand new kind of purpose-built equipment and things like that. But they produce a lot of cask ales, although they do bottle a portion of their beer for sale in the brewery and in the brewery shop and in other internet sites as well. So you should be able to get a hold of these beers if you do want to order some of them over the internet. I'm not sure about international shipping and things like that, but check it out anyway and see what you think. But we'll get on to the tasting of this beer now. That's your very, very short history of the brewery. I'll just bring up the camera and let you have a little look at the artwork on this one. It's very nicely presented actually, and I was impressed with their website as well. Very kind of nicely done and designed actually. You can see very nicely presented kind of green label on this one. Their beers, when I looked at them, do seem to have quite different labels on them here. It does have a little bit of a description on the back of it as well that tells you about the West Highland Way. It says history. The West Highland Way is a 96-mile long path running from Milnagavie to Fort William on the west coast of Scotland. The route follows ancient drovers' paths and military routes and is usually walked from south to north. Over 30,000 people complete this challenge every year. So it's quite an interesting one there. It just says a little bit about the brewery, which I've just gone through with you as well, and it says the trademark. So this is about the symbol of the brewery here, which, as you can see, is this guy. This guy here. I'm not sure how well you can see that with the light in the camera, but it says here the fleur de lis is found on all of our bottles as a stamp of authenticity. So this is how you know you're getting good beer and not fake stuff. But very nicely presented bottle. This guy is a 3.7% blonde or golden ale, however you want to describe it. My only complaint actually about their website is that they don't tell you the malt and hop profile, which I always say with beers is very interesting to know. And this guy is just a plain bottle cap, of course. So we'll get on with the tasting of this guy. As I say, 3.7% kind of blonde or golden ale. So let's get this out and get on with the tasting here. So as you can see, a very nice kind of smoky opening on this one. We'll just get it out and into the glass. The one thing I can note just from pouring it is the aroma smells very, very kind of bready actually. Got a nice kind of bready yeast from this one. I'll just leave a little bit of it in the bottle just now so we can sugar it up and take a little look at the colour, as I always like to do. So I'll bring up the light and let you just see properly what kind of colour this beer is. You can see it's a very nice kind of pale golden straw. It's kind of slightly opaque. You can see my fingers through it, so it does have a certain level of transparency. There's quite a good bit of carbonation floating around in this one as well. So a very kind of attractive looking beer actually. It actually reminds me a little bit of some of the German Helles beers that I used to get when I was living in Germany. And you can see there was about a half finger of a kind of bumpy white head, but that's going down just to be a very sort of thin foamy layer. So let's give it a little bit of a sugar and see how we get on with the aroma here. So without sugaring it up, there's definitely an element of a kind of, there's definitely a sort of bready and kind of cereally bread element to this one, but there's also a little bit of a grassy hop to it as well. So let's give it a sugar up and just see what the different aromas you can get out of this are. So yeah, it kind of sticks with that. The bread gets a bit slightly sweeter, almost kind of yeast character coming out of it at this point. But you've got a nice, yeah, a really nice kind of sweet, kind of biscuity, bready malt base on it. Not really caramel, definitely a more biscuity or cakey malt base to this one. But you've got grassy notes coming out of the hops as well. And there's a good bit of citrus in this one. There's a fruit element here that's quite unusual. It reminds me of the sort of little apricot yogurts that my mum used to give me when I was wee, the little munch bunch things. It does have a little element of that, but it's maybe just because it's mixing quite well with that kind of yeasty and bready aroma. It's a very nice smelling beer, actually. It's not too pungy a nose, I should say that, but it's just got a nice kind of really nice malt base to this one. It does remind me a little bit of some of these beers that I got in Germany. The nose is a little bit reminiscent. So that's the last of this beer out. We'll just sit this back down and we'll get on with the tasting here. So this is my very first beer review from the Loch Lomond Brewery. Hopefully there's a number of these to come for you, but we'll get on with this now. So cheers to the Loch Lomond Brewery, and you can see very nice looking beer indeed. That's really nice, actually. And I've reviewed a few golden ales in this series for you so far, and what's interesting is each of them seem to be really quite different. So you can go around all these little craft breweries in Scotland and taste all these different ones. I mean, the ones that stick out to me was the River Leven Ales Blonde and also the Lightness from the Loch Ness Brewery, and they were very good, and this one's very good again. I left this one just out the fridge a little bit to kind of let it just warm slightly, and I think it must be only about 4 degrees-ish, 5 degrees-ish in temperature, and that's very nice. You're getting this bready malt character coming out just nicely, and the hops are certainly present as well. So yeah, you've got a really nice kind of light bready malt character to this one, which is always good. It does have a little bit of a kind of cereal-y character to it as well. Not quite rye, but definitely some sort of cereal or grainy kind of spice to the bread in there. But it's a nice big kind of sweet yeasty bready character, just with that little bit of a kind of cereal spice in there. That kind of sits around the back of the tongue. The cereal spice is kind of right in the middle of the tongue, which is really nice. But yeah, it comes in bready, and then the sort of hop character of the beer just really builds as you go through it, and you get this nice kind of fresh, grassy, aromatic character that comes out around the edge of the tongue. It has that really nice freshness to it. It's very well balanced in flavour, I should say. But there's some really nice lemony and citrusy fruits coming out, and that floral aromatic character really does make it very nice and fresh. The bready malt base, it's not too sweet actually, it's just, they've got it just nice. It has just this sort of pale malt base to it, I should say, but it's nice and biscuity. It's not quite as sweet as you would expect from the aroma. Yeah, you get just a little bit of the sweetness when the liquid is actually still in your mouth, but in the aftertaste it's mostly the kind of aromatic and grassy character that's coming out of it, and just this really nice kind of bready malt base. It does very nicely actually. The flavours blend very, very well together, and it's not as if you get a really abrupt change in it. As I say, the hoppy character kind of builds towards the end of the taste of the beer, but then in the aftertaste you're getting more of the kind of biscuity malt coming out, which is really, really nice. And as I say, I'm very impressed with this one again, because regardless of where you seem to go with Scottish beer, you do seem to be able to find something very, very good. And based on this beer alone, I mean, at Loch Lomond, I can assume that their other beers will be of a similar quality to this, so it is a very, very good one, and it's cool that you can go to all these very small breweries and get such good beer in Scotland. They do brew a variety of different styles as well, so I'll need to try some of the other ones, but this is a very good beer. Really nice golden ale, and quite sessionable I think as well, that you could sit down and easily drink quite a few of these. But yeah, the kind of flavours in it are quite subtle. You get a nice bit of hop bite at the end, not quite as strong as the likes of a kind of German Helles beer that you would get over there. They do like their beers to be quite hoppy at the end and have this really nice freshness to it, but this one is a bit more subtle than that, but it's very, very good in taste. In terms of the mouthfeel, It's really quite light bodied actually, maybe pushing the mid bodied a bit because of the malt base in it, but it's got quite a soft carbonation, but the carbonation to some degree does kind of complement the nice fresh kind of aromatic-y character that comes around the edge of the tongue. But as I say, it's quite easy drinking. You could easily session a few of these, but it actually does have quite a bit of dry character towards the end when you get into the aftertaste, and again, that's the sort of hoppy and aromatic character coming out there. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this beer review. I've quite enjoyed this one, and it's been really cool to find another really quite good, very small craft brewery in Scotland. So, I mean, out of the three that are standing out to me so far in this series, definitely these guys, Loch Lomond Brewery, Loch Ness Brewery, and also River Leaving Ales. So I hope you've enjoyed this beer review. Check out these guys if you do happen to find yourself on the West Highland Way, for those of you watching outside of Scotland of course, and if you're watching in Scotland you should be able to get a hold of this beer kind of fairly easily, so definitely check it out. A very, very nice one. But I hope you've enjoyed the beer review. Please let me know in the comments section if you have tried this yourself and your thoughts on this one of course, and I will catch you soon with another beer review. And please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff, help my channel grow, and I will catch you tomorrow with the next in the series of Scottish beer reviews. Cheers.